Welcome back to the Wastewater Engineers video lessons. This is lesson 3 of our series. My name is Charity and I'm an educator at King County Wastewater Treatment. In this lesson today, we are going to be talking about how to protect our precious wastewater systems, our pipes, our machines that clean the water, and the Puget Sound. So think back, since this is the 3rd lesson today of our series, think back to our first 2 lessons. Remember, in our first lesson, we learned that we get water from reservoirs that are lakes up in the mountains, or maybe from groundwater in our communities. That water gets piped to where you live, and we use it in our cooking, when we wash dishes, when we flush toilets, and when we drink water. All of that used water then is called wastewater, and it needs to go and get cleaned before we can return it to nature. In our second video, we learned about all the cool engineering that goes into cleaning the water and got to practice our own engineering. And then in our video tour, you actually get to see all of the different machines that we use to take out the trash and organics and chemicals and bacteria out of the water. So now that you've learned about how our water system works, it's important that we learn about how we can take care of the system, how we can be water stewards. So in our lesson today, we're going to be learning about 3 different mistakes that people make, 3 different bad choices that people make when they interact with our water system and when they use water where they live. We'll be going through each of these, I like to call them water problems, and studying why they happen, why they're an issue for our water system. And then at the end, you'll get to choose one of the problems and try to come up with a solution for it. You'll need a pen and paper and coloring stuff for this lesson, and you'll actually get to draw out a poster that you can put up where you live to help people you live with make better decisions about how they use their water. So we're going to go through problem 1 first. Problem 1 is trash at an elementary school. At this elementary school, we have noticed lots of trash that is getting flushed down the toilet. People are flushing wipes and paper towels and sometimes even toys. It's getting stuck in the pipes and it's causing flooding at the school. It's also causing clogs and breaking the machines at our wastewater treatment plant. So that's our first problem. Has this ever happened? It's our first bad choice that people are making. Has this ever happened at your school before? Think back. Has anyone ever flushed things they shouldn't and it's caused clogs, or maybe closed the bathroom for a while? Or maybe where you live? Yeah, it's a big deal. Not only is it unpleasant to be around in your own bathroom and your own drains, it also is really bad for our wastewater treatment plants. We spend over $1 million every year at King County cleaning out trash that has clogged and broken our machines. So it's super important that people only put that trash in the trash cans and not in the toilet. I have a really great thing right here to kind of illustrate how much trash people put down the drains. Oh, this is how much trash. This is literally 1 minute of trash. It's sealed into a box, it's so gross. But this is how much trash comes into our wastewater treatment plant here at Brightwater in 1 minute. And it's things like wrappers mostly, and wipes and paper towels. But all of this stuff, even though it seems pretty small when you have it, actually I have some examples here too that are less gross than this, like Q-tips and wipes and dental floss. Even though these things seem really small when you have them, they add up and make these huge ropes and clogs in our pipes and in our machines, like our pumps that move water, and they make it really hard for us to clean the water. So I want us to take a minute and think, why would this be happening? Why would students at this elementary school be making this choice to put trash and toys down the toilet? I know I can think of a couple reasons. One might be that there isn't a trash can nearby, so they think the toilet might be the best choice to get rid of stuff. So maybe we could fix this problem, help them make a better choice by adding a trash can. I can also think of students doing it to be silly, or doing it because they think that it's a small, silly thing and they don't know how big of an impact it can have. So if I were to try to solve this problem, I might come up with a poster to put up in the bathroom that would share with kids how important it is that they only flush the 4 P's. Remember the 4 P's from our last video? Poop, pee, puke, and toilet paper. Yeah, those are the only things that should be going down the drain. So I'm going to keep going and sharing more problems, more bad choices that people are making in our water system. But if you want to come back to this later, you can, this problem, and you can choose this problem to make your poster about for our final activity. So now we're ready to talk about problem 2, our second water problem. So this is another way that people are making bad choices that are impacting our water system. Great. So problem 2, people are pouring used cooking oil and grease down the drains in their kitchen sinks to get rid of it. When the grease is cooling down, it's becoming a solid and it's blocking the pipes. So why do you think this would be a problem to pour grease and oil down drains? Why would this be a problem for our pipes and for our wastewater treatment plant? Take a minute and think about it. So one reason this is a big problem is because grease and oil, grease in particular, when it is warm, it's a liquid. This is a great example here. So this is actually a jar of used bacon grease. You can see it's a little bit warm right now. So you can see that it's totally liquid. And then I might be washing my dishes, have this in one of my pans, and because it is liquid, like maybe other things that I might be cleaning off my dishes, it's easy for me to just pour this down the drain. But if I were to do that, this nice warm liquid here, when it becomes cool, it becomes a solid. And so this is what it looks like. This is the same thing, literally just cooled down. And you can see that it's a solid and it forms kind of a wall in our pipes. It makes it so that our water can't keep going and it causes big clogs. Also, if the grease does go on and get to the wastewater treatment plant, it can also cause clogs there and make it harder for us to clean the water. So even though it looks like kind of like soap or something, right, when it's warm, it's not a big deal. When this stuff gets solid, when it cools down, it can become a big problem in our water system. So let's start thinking about some solutions to this problem. What do you do where you live? Do you know? What does your family do? Maybe you might not be the person that does the cooking in your house, but maybe what does your family do when they cook and they have extra grease? I know where I live, I like to pour my extra grease into just like a soda pop can, and then when I'm done using it, when it's full, I'll just put it in the trash. The other thing that you can do is that if you have a little bit less grease, so maybe it's just like a dirty pan, I take a paper towel and I scrape it out, and then I put that paper towel in the compost when I'm done with it. So that way, even when I'm washing the dishes, none of my grease is going down the drain. And that's really something easy that you can do where you live. In restaurants, sometimes they reuse their grease, which actually you can do with bacon grease, or they'll put it in kind of like a grease disposal can that gets taken away along with the trash and things like that. So that's problem number 2. Think about it. If you were gonna write a poster, maybe to put up in a kitchen, that would explain why this is a problem and what they should be doing, what would you put on that poster? What would you put on that poster to tell people that this is a problem? If you were to draw a poster with crayons and pictures, go ahead and think about that for a minute. Then we're gonna do one more scenario, and then at the end, you'll choose one of these again and think about how you draw a poster to fix one of these problems. Great. So on to our third scenario, our third problem. So people who are living in an apartment building are using chemicals, harsh chemicals, and lots of them, like drain cleaner to clean their apartments. And then when they're done using the chemicals, they're pouring the rest down the toilet. So this is our problem, our last problem today, is people using chemicals and adding them into the water that goes down the drain. Why would that be a problem for our water system? Let's take a minute and think about that. Why would that be a problem? You can pause the video if you need a little more time too. So I can think of a couple reasons why this would be a problem for our water system. One reason is that if you think back to our virtual tour that we went on, we actually use living creatures to help us clean our water. These creatures are special tiny, tiny microbes that eat the poop in the food and the bad bacteria and break down some of the things that are in the water for us. So in the tour of the wastewater treatment plant, that was that bubbly brown bacteria hot tub. So those special creatures are actually pretty sensitive. I've got a plushie here to kind of demonstrate. They're like these guys, they don't look like this. And they eat the poop and the germs out of the water for us. Nom, 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 nom. These creatures, like I said, are sensitive, and if we put way too many chemicals down the drain, it can make it harder for them to live and to clean the water for us. There's also some chemicals that go through our wastewater system and out into the Puget Sound too, so those could hurt special sea creatures in the water. So it's really important that we use less chemicals where we live and think about the chemicals that we're using. So I'm going to introduce you to a couple of chemicals here. This is a drain cleaner, and the thing about drain cleaners is that they are made to dissolve anything that is in the drain and is clogging it, which we've been talking about clogs here for a little bit, right? But the thing with drain cleaners is that chemical has to be really strong to dissolve everything in the drain, and can be pretty dangerous actually if it's out into our water. Another chemical I can think of is like oven cleaner too. Oven cleaners dissolve all the things in your oven, so they can be really harsh. So how could we solve this problem? How could we solve this problem of too many chemicals, putting chemicals down the drain that don't need to go there? Take a minute and think about it. How could we solve this problem? I can think of a couple ways we can solve this problem. One of those ways is just using less chemicals in general, so really thinking about when you need to use chemicals, that's one. Another way is using different chemicals. So we think of them as green chemicals that are better for the environment and aren't dangerous to our creatures. So that's things like, this is called Castile soap, and it's actually a really great house cleaner. There's also things that are like considered green cleaners. So usually they'll say like green or biodegradable on the label, and that tells you that they break down in the water and are safer for animals to be around. Awesome. The last thing you can do is if you think about disposing of your chemicals, so getting rid of them, it's important not to put them down the drain when you're done using them, like if you have extra left over in your bottle. It's really important that those chemicals don't even go in your trash. They go to a special place to get rid of them. They're called a hazardous waste disposal. So if you have lots of chemicals sitting around in your house, like bug cleaner or like bug killer or oven cleaner and things like that, and you want to get rid of all of them, they need to go to a special hazardous waste disposal. And those are actually all over our county. You can also go to this website and it'll give you more information about where your closest place is to bring your old chemicals. So that's our third scenario. So now that we've talked about all of the different problems, all of the different ways that people make bad choices that can hurt our water system, we'd like you to choose one of those ways and come up with a poster that can help solve the problem. So these could be something that explains why it's a problem, and it also can explain the better choice that people can make. Welcome back to the lesson. So at this point, you should be wrapping up drawing your poster, and that's gonna be the solution to a water problem. So I wanted to take a minute and show you some of the posters I came up with. This poster is to solve the grease problem. So it's got a pan with grease in it here, and then it's got it going all the way to the trash can and not down our pipes. Maybe one of your posters looks like this. This one is another one to solve the problem of trash in the toilets. I like that it's really eye-catching. It's a picture of a toilet, and it says no trash in the toilet. Awesome. I've also got this one that is about using less chemicals and protecting our planet. Pretty cool. If you have made a beautiful poster creation, I would love it if you would put it up on the wall, maybe where you live, to remind people to make better choices about our water. And you can also even take a picture of your poster and send it to us. We'd love to see it. And our contact information is included in the notes on this video. Great. So one last important way that you can take care of our water system is by using less water. So think back to our first lesson. Do you remember how many gallons of water people use per day? How many gallons of water? It's 100 gallons, 100 gallons of water every day. That's like 2.5 bathtubs or half of a hot tub full of water. That's so much. And remember, that water comes from our beautiful mountain reservoirs and also from our groundwater. And it's really important that we make sure we don't waste water where we live, and we save that water for the animals and also send less water to be cleaned in our wastewater system, right? So you can conserve water, you can save water by taking shorter showers, by using smaller or bigger loads of laundry, so not just washing one piece of clothing at a time, washing lots of clothes together. And there's so many more ways you can save water and work with your family to do so. I'm gonna include a link right here that you can go to and look up lots more ways that you can save water with your family at home. So now that we've gone through our problems with our water system, we've thought about how our system works and what you can do to take care of it, the last thing for us to do is take our water steward pledge. So let's break that down, water steward pledge. So a steward is someone who takes care of something, like a steward of the environment takes care of nature around us. Very important. And a pledge is something that you agree to do. So a water steward pledge means we are going to agree to take care of our water. Awesome. So I'd like you to raise your right hand. It's going to be very official, and repeat after me. I state your name. So I, Charity, promise to only flush the 4 P's, poop, puke, pee, and toilet paper, to pour grease in the trash, in a can that goes in the trash, and not down the toilet or the sink, to put less chemicals down the drain, and also to use less water, to conserve water, and to share my knowledge with my friends and family, with liberty and justice for all. Beautiful, thank you. Well, thank you so much for going through this journey with us through our whole water system, through getting the water to where you live, to cleaning the water, to returning the water out into the Puget Sound, and also learning about how we can take care of that water together. We really appreciate you going on this journey with us, and if you're interested in learning more about wastewater treatment, you can go to our education resources page, and we've got lots more information and activities, and you can also bring your class on a virtual field trip too. All right. Thanks.